You talked about civility between friends. There's not a lot of civility these days between the United States and the UK. They used to be very much in love, but that relationship has completely cooled, mainly because when Donald Trump decided to attack Iran, Keir Starmer refused to allow US jets to use British bases to launch those attacks, a position that I'm sure Donald Trump would have found quite flabbergasting, and he sure let Keir Starmer have it with both barrels today.
I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Keir Starmer is certainly not Winston Churchill. So while Donald Trump has launched Operation Epic Fury, Keir Starmer was busy today with Operation Epic Appeasement, talking to a group of Muslims, assuring them that he had done absolutely nothing at all to protect the UK from radical Islam.
I want to make clear the UK was not involved in the offensive strikes of the US and Israel, and that remains the case.
In the last 42 months, the UK police have foiled 20 terror attacks plotted by Iranians. That's just in the last 42 months. So you would think the UK would very much have an interest in Trump's action against Iran. For Keir Starmer to boast that we were not involved and we will never be involved is certainly not very Churchillian at all. Trump is right on the money.
And the fact that he is making this statement to a Muslim audience, directly to a Muslim audience, by which he is basically signalling it's OK, I understand what you're on about. Now, when you are at the point as a Prime Minister where you have to pander so clearly to an interest group, a minority group, you have to ask the question, who are you governing for now? I mean, it's you're kind of being dictated to in terms of what your policy is. And the fact that you would stand there as the leader of a Western nation, you know, I mean, this is something that pretty much the entirety of the West and the entirety of the Middle East is on board with, and he can't bring himself to say, yes, you know, we agree with what has happened. Oh, I stress we weren't involved. I mean, what a strange day when Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong are stronger in their rhetoric on this matter than Sir Keir Starmer, the same man who just a few months ago was talking about his country being turned into an island of strangers, talking about immigration, and he can't even muster up the courage to say, yeah, actually, we've done the right thing here to take out a dictatorial, theocratic leader.
Well, it's interesting how you point out how different his rhetoric was a couple months ago compared to what he's saying now. It does make me wonder, does his rhetoric change depending on what room he's in? Would he have said the same thing if it were not a room full of Islamic leaders who we know, many of whom are mourning the Ayatollah, even here in Australia? And I think this is the problem. When you start to have the balkanization of politics, where ethnic groups or religious groups, instead of voting for what is in the national interest, vote for self-interest for their community, that is when you actually get the breakdown of democracy. This is not a good road to go down. It's happening here in Australia. It's happening in the UK. And Trump is completely right. Starmer must be one of the weakest UK Prime Ministers since World War II, since before Winston Churchill, when appeasement was the policy with the Nazis.
And of course, those comments came just a few days after a by-election in the UK, which the Labor Party was all set and favoured to win. Shockingly, they lost it to the Greens, who campaigned almost exclusively to Pakistani Muslims, stirring up resentment about the UK's failure to support Palestinians in Gaza to the degree that many Muslims felt they should have. So I think Keir Starmer's been completely spooked by that result, and he's trying to, settle the horses so he doesn't have similar losses in other seats down the track.
Well, they not only lost that by-election, they got absolutely hammered in that by-election. It should be noted not only by the Greens but also by Reform. I mean, because to first pass the post system in the UK, the Greens had like 10,500 votes. But Reform was not far behind on about 9,000 odd votes, and then Labor was well down the list. I mean, the Tories barely polled 1,000 votes in that seat, right? So it's not just the Greens he has to worry about. It's sort of like a pincer movement. He's got the Greens coming from this angle, he's got Reform coming from that angle, and he doesn't know what to do. I was at lunch yesterday with a guy over from London at the moment, and he was just remarking, I can't believe how fast Sir Keir has managed to blow up his government, you know.